And welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great day. Please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. Well, we have another 5-year rebuild, and today we will be rebuilding the Carolina Panthers. Panthers obviously drafted Bryce Young. Oh god, where is the Bryce Young? Here we go. Our rookie quarterback here. I really like Young. He has a strong arm, has an okay arm. Good accuracies. I think he will be a very good quarterback for this team, and this Panther team actually is has solid players. But rebuilding this Panthers team, you know, Bryce Young is of course going to be the focal point, so we don't have to worry about quarterback, thankfully. I do want to give Mingo and Marshall an opportunity, as well as maybe, yeah. This team is good and bad at the same time, you know. We have a veteran in Hayden Hurts and Adam Thielen. Obviously, Miles Sanders is a quality back, but you know, offensively, we need a lot of help, and hopefully, we can do that. Defensively, you know, we have Derek Brown here. We have Jeremy Chin. We have a solid secondary across the board. It's just getting better players around. Now, I do think that Derek Brown should be playing defensive tackle. Burns and Frankie Louvu should be playing the end spots, but for now, we'll keep it as is, I guess. I don't know. We'll find the best defense. We need help across the interior, but year one is just getting the baseline, getting the youth of this roster going, and hopefully we can do so. Let's go get to the mid-season mark. Well, here we are at the mid-season mark, and we're 1-5. Did not expect this at all. This kind of just tells me that we should move off of some veterans, just try to accumulate some draft picks. You know, for Bryce Young, he doesn't have the strongest arm, and that's probably like the thing that I will work on. We got throw power in that one. We'll do one more in strong arm. So hopefully we get +3 mid. Yeah, that's a good enough upgrade for those two for him. Just gotta work on his arm here. I would like that to get into the 90s by the end of this video. But yeah, I think we're gonna end up probably looking to move off of a couple players. Maybe we try to trade away Adam, like a player like an Adam Thielen. Got 27 players to negotiate with, almost $60 million. Gotta keep Brian Burns. Jeremy Chin is important. Deion Jones, maybe. Frankie Louvu, he wants way too much money. Levikas Shenault might be a good receiver to keep. Yeah. Though I think we're gonna start off by trading away some veterans here. Just try to get some draft picks, just try to get something for them. And heck, even maybe some young players on this roster, but let's go make some trades. We're trading away DJ Chark, Hayden Hurts, and Adam Thielen to get a Chiefs 3rd round pick this year, next year a 5th round, and a 7th round pick next year. Just trying to accumulate some draft picks, and hopefully that these guys can help out. Okay, I guess my controller does not want to work right now. What the fuck? This will be the last trade. We're trading away CJ Henderson, Frankie Louvu, and Ian Thomas to get a 3rd and 2 4ths from the Houston Texans. Just trying to get some mid-round draft picks. We might be aggressive in this first year to try to get some new players on this roster. And this will allow us to be able to trade up and down the board. We were able to give Brian Burns a long-term deal. So about 7 years. Paid him whatever the heck he liked. The last player I would like to keep is Jeremy Chin. Of course, if Jim doesn't want to come back, it's going to just be hard. And he does resign. It leaves us with $18 million. Everyone else will let go. We'll head into this off season, not with a ton of capital. We'll probably have to cut off some fat of this roster, but yeah, we're not going to have a great first year, but hopefully year 2, we can start getting some more victories. Oh, year 1 in the books, we went 5-12, not great year, not a terrible season, but a very bad season for us, as Madden is slow to load and my controller continues to get unplugged. But Bryce Young here, 17 touchdowns, 23 interceptions, worst we've ever seen from a starting quarterback of ours. Miles Sanders, 1,100 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't know if we're going to really need to focus on running back, though. Jonathan Mingo, solid season for a rookie. 800 yards and 6 touchdowns. Levikas Shenault, 605. Terrence Marshall, 400 touchdowns. Yeah, our just passing game just was not really here. We got to just get a legitimate receiver in the building. Von Bell here led us in tackles. Brian Bird's got 8.5 sacks, with Derek Brown getting 8 of his own and leading us in tackles for loss. And Jeremy Chin got 3 interceptions. So our best 3 players got turnovers and made plays on defense. So let's get into the offseason and be able to make some moves here, as this screen is so long to load. As the Green Bay Packers were able to win a Super Bowl with Jordan Love here, Aaron Jones, Super Bowl MVP. They beat the Chargers. As now we're going to enter into our first off-season. You know, we don't have a ton of money. Hopefully we can make either some cuts to trim up the roster a little bit, or, you know, we get some good development traits here for this team. At the current position, we have $31 million. All these players we will... the CPU handle, but you know, I don't expect us to be able to make a massive splash in this free agency run. Probably next year with 33. JC Horn will pick up his 5th-year option. Deion Jones, we can just do better at linebacker. Yeah, I think we can just do better at instead of these bottom roster players, and just get quality young depth players. Worst case scenario is that we did trade for a couple 3s and a 4. So we should be able to reaccumulate the depth of this roster. So this is the current state of the roster here. Bryce Young, he either had superstar development or he got it. Let's go see. How did he get this? I think he just came into the game with superstar development. I actually have no idea. But superstar dev for Bryce Young, very good. We're gonna need that, but we desperately need a wide receiver to come in here. Tight end is kind of a need. Interior offensive line we can look to upgrade. Defensively, we could look to move off of players like Jackson here, or Xavier Woods, or Von Bell, but both Bell and I think Jeremy Chin went up to superstar dev. And yeah, I mean, I don't think that we need to move off of our... I don't think we should try to move off of our players in our secondary just yet. They're solid starters. I think just accumulating the front 7 and getting that better, especially across this defensive tackle line. Though Derek Brown is more of a defensive tackle anyways. But either way, happy to have Thomas back. We have about 35 million dollars to work with. Let's go see what open free agency has for us. So we have Tyron Smith, Bobby Wagner, Gabe Davis, Michael Pierce. This is tough. Because I mean, bringing in a guy like a Gabe Davis would be an immediate number 1 wide receiver, but he would take up all of our remaining salary cap. You know, if we wanted to help out this defensive line in any sort of means, there are a few quality starters that we might be able to get cheaply, but you know, if we want our quality starters, we kind of have to pay. Though I do think Gabe Davis is 25 years old. You give your young quarterback a true legitimate number 1 receiver. I don't see why not. And even if we have $20 million, we're right now in first place. I think we'll make some moves here to help out this front 7. Maybe get a defensive lineman or 2. And then we'll enter into this draft class just trying to get a little bit younger across the board. So other than Gabe Davis, I'm going to make a small offer here to Calais Campbell, Marcus Hurts, and Morgan Fox. You know, each of these guys can kind of play on the edge. Each of these guys can kind of play on the interior. They're big, they're strong, and hopefully we can at least get Gabe Davis out of these 4 guys. Campbell and Marcus did not decide. We did get Morgan Fox, but Gabe Davis decided to sign with the Detroit Lions here, and OBJ is gone now. Now it's kind of like decision time in terms of receiver, because available, there's really no one that can come in here and make it as a really any sort of an impact like day 1. So, you know, is there a young receiver here that I like that could come in here and just like, you know, Justin Ross here could possibly. We'll make a small offer here for Ross. Just try to get a young receiver into the building. The rest of the remaining salary, we'll just let it roll over. Let's see if we can get some more help across this defensive line. We did. We got Marcus Hunt and we got Ross. So let's get to the draft. And we're going to have to probably prioritize a wide receiver this year. Well, as we're entering into our first draft class here, looks like we do not have a first round pick. That makes sense. We traded up to go get Bryce Young. So we have multiple third round picks, multiple fourth round picks, multiple fifth round picks. I don't even see our seventh round pick. You know, definitely considering trying to get one of these receivers. Brian Lee here would probably be my favorite just by looking at the two guys that we looked at. Now Brown here could be solid here. 4.4 speed. Might not be the fast. We might not have a fast draft class this year for receiver. But Brian Lee, it says he's a deep threat. He skipped the combine as well. But I think we're gonna make a couple trades. I think we're gonna try to trade up in the first round. Just like maybe like to the 28th overall pick. I don't know who has the pick, but we're gonna try to get up there just to at least have a first round pick and use that late second round pick or early second round pick to try to get another good player here. So let me go find who has like the 28th or 26th overall pick. So we are trading up to the 26th overall pick, but we're giving up a lot of draft capital for it. We're giving up a third round pick, 2 3s this year, 2 4s this year, a third next year, and a third 3 years from now, just to trade up all the way to the 26th overall pick. I think I mean, no team would probably do this type of trade, but you know, for the amount of draft picks we are giving up, I think we should be getting a good player here. I'm hoping that receiver's on the board still. He would be the target here, and he is. And I think we should draft him. 22 years old. He's a deep threat, but 6'4", 22 years old. Normal dev, 89 speed though. Did I just fuck up completely? You know what? That sounds like something I would kind of do here. Okay, let's move off of the first round pick and let's move to the second round here. We have an early second round pick. You know, secondary we don't need. We could consider a defensive lineman here. You know, maybe someone like a Brian Nails here, 6'6", 22 years old, power moves. Don't know his block shed. Strong, elite strength across the board. You know, might not be able to get to the quarterback finessely, but power, he can definitely do so. We haven't really helped at all this offensive line. That's something else we could do. But I just don't think that here is the right spot. I think we help out this defense. I like Nails a lot. He's 6'6", 22 years old out of TCU. Let's bring him in. 90 strength, 78 speed with hidden development. And that should really help out this defensive line. That does need some help here. So let's move to the third round. I think we only have now 1 third round pick, and it's the back end. So this will be my last pick. Yeah, as we move here into the third round, we've added a receiver, a defensive lineman. Now, can we potentially get in like a center or something? I don't really like the top. I really particularly look at the top 3 skills, like Dwayne Boyles here. Is he strong? If he's strong, I might draft him. Solid strength. 64 West Boyles will be the pick. He's 21 years old. He should be a solid offensive lineman. 90 strength, normal dev. Didn't hit the development trait, but hopefully he's at least like a 70 overall, and then we can start Dwayne. How badly did I fuck up in this draft class? I did give up a lot of picks to draft a normal dev receiver. That is a 73 overall. Not the best, not the worst either. Has solid hands to start off with. We just need to get him a development trait. Brian Lynn needs to get his development trait. Ben Nails here. Hey, he should be able to get to the quarterback. He should be able to stop the run. Yeah, he's a quality defensive lineman. And then Boyles here. You know, not the best, not the worst. He's actually pretty bad. But you know what? First draft class, that's okay. We did get a good backup running back and good backup corner. And let's see the strength of this draft class. You know, I probably should have just kept my draft picks and just try to get as much depth as possible. Meredith here. is the highest overall player at 79 overall. Didn't really have a chance to draft him. He was my favorite tight end, but just didn't really like him. I don't remember the name of the other receiver, but let's move on to year 2. Let's go see if we can do better than, what, 5 and 12? So hopefully we can do so. Well, from year 1 to year 2, the team really hasn't changed that much. You know, the offensive line is pretty much the same. Tommy Tremble's now the starter. The CPU drafted a hidden dev tight end. You know, we have our rookie receiver. We have Mingo. We're kind of just developing these receivers and hoping that they can really improve defensively. I mean, probably next year, I'll probably end up changing some players' positional groups like Derek Brown to defensive tackle and stuff, because we're basically starting 4 defensive tackles and move Brian Burns back down. But we have a quality secondary. That's going to lead us the way, hopefully. I think it's this defense, if we're going to win any sort of ball games, it's going to be up to them to do so. Well, halfway through the year, yeah, we're still pretty bad. We're 1-6. Yeah, and not having the type of season that you really want us to have progressively. We have over $100 million to work with. We have to bring back Derek Brown at least. Yeah, Derek Brown is probably the only starter. Everyone else we probably should be considering moving off of here. But Derek Brown, definitely Derek Brown, and probably Austin Corbett here will be the 2 guys we will negotiate with. For Brown, we'll just make it a little bit more money. He resigns. And then for Austin, I would like to keep him for the next 4 seasons. I just don't, he's just a quality lineman. He did not resign, but I'll continue to work with him. Jackson here, Thompson and Chuba Hubbard will look to trade. Probably also Xavier Woods. We'll look to trade those guys. Just try to get like a 2nd round, 3rd round, something for them. Because I think we really need to. Well, we're trading away Xavier Woods, Jackson, and Shaq Thompson to get a 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick from the Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully those 3 players can help them get over the top here. But we're trying to get to the off season, you know, trying to now make year 3 more meaningful, and hopefully we can do so. We got a lot of work to do with this Carolina team. Well, after year 2, we went 6-11. Not great, not terrible, just pretty average here. But Bryce Young, hey, he's looking like our starting quarterback, our franchise guy. Less than 4,000 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Quality season. Another 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns for Miles Sanders. Solid production. Ross had 8 and 8. Jonathan Mingo here had 8 and 9, and then Brian Lee here had 7 and 5, and Tommy Trample had 7 and 5 as well. All 4 of our young receivers here all got involved, and that's something that we definitely need to get address here, is get one of these guys to become an elite prospect. No one over 100 tackles, but Von Bell let us in tackles. We had Derek Brown, 18 tackles for loss. Ben Nails here with 17 tackles for loss, and Brian Burns with 10. Brown had 11.5, Nails had 7, and Burns had 4. So our top guys, they did their job on defense. I think we're gonna move some players around to better scheme us, and then hopefully that can also help us better make some decisions here during the off season. So this year's Super Bowl champions are the Kansas City Chiefs, and you guys can see Ben Nails won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Wonder if we have any new development traits or for either of our rookies. You know, that's gonna be like the youth of this draft, of our last couple draft classes, need to start stepping up here. So Brandon Lee here, he was normal dev, and I guess he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, so he got a development trait, which is very good. We need him to, between him and Mingo. And then Ben Nails here is star dev. Did he lose his development trait? Yeah, he actually regressed. He was supposed to be superstar. Let me know down below what you guys will want me to do in these type of situations. Do you guys want me to give like these rookies back their development traits or no? I mean, I would in this situation just because he came down as superstar. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year, and you know, he should be a superstar development. But you know what? I won't bother with it though. What the heck is this Bass kid? David Bass. I guess the CPU drafted him. He's a quality corner, 84 man coverage and 77 press. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna move some players around positionally, their position groups, like move Brian Burns to defensive end and stuff, and then we'll check out the roster. We'll see who we have to re-sign and stuff, and then we'll get into this second off season. So as we're entering into this off season here, you know, getting a true legitimate #1 guy would probably be the best thing for this team. Starting tight end Tommy Tremble's not coming back. Help out this interior, this offensive line. We have the money now to do it. Defensive line looks a lot better, but gotta help out this linebacking core now. We gotta get someone in here. Moving Jeremy Chin back to safety, I just think that, you know, he's just better at that spot. Gotta get a corner. This team just needs help. I'm keeping Nails as a defensive end instead of defensive tackle just because I think he can play both. And so hopefully he's able to be successful no matter where we put him. $112 million. We'll keep him. For Austin here, still would like to keep Austin if he would be willing to come back. Would love to keep Austin Colbert just to not have to worry about the entire interior offensive line. He does resign. And for everyone else, we'll let go. We'll figure out specialists on another time, but hopefully as we enter into this free agency period, we're able to bring in some good players because this offense and defense needs a lot of help. After just letting some players walk and stuff, I mean, I believe the interior of this offensive line needs help massively. I mean, we did draft a kid in the 3rd round, and we still have Ross. I mean, we can go into the season with this team, but it would have very similar results here. Linebacker's probably the most glaring need on this defense, and hopefully this open free agency has some players to help out our team. I do think that even if we don't have to go after these 25-year-olds, I do think getting quality starters is also a direction we should consider. I do see a lot of good starters. Tua's out here, not considering a quarterback, not considering a running back. Receiver, where there's Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, Elijah Moore. Okay. So Moore would be the youngest at an 81 overall, but normal development. I mean, Amari Cooper for 3 seasons. Could he keep up that 89 overall? Probably. Tight end, there's not really a lot out here. We'll still consider bringing someone in. This interior of this offensive line, Landon Dickerson, probably my target. And then on the defensive side of the football, Zadarius Smith, probably not. Josh Sweat, no. This linebacking core is what I'm mostly worried about. Baker wouldn't be a bad option either. Same with Jones here. Eric Kendricks is out here. JOK, okay. I mean, that's a quality player. Same thing here with Greg Newsom. We do need a #2 cornerback, and Newsom would be a good starter, but we can't pay everyone. Jabril Peppers is out here. We're good at safety. I think, though, JOK is probably the first player we should target. He can play a little bit of everything for a defense, and he would just be an immediate impactful starter. I think across this offensive line, Landon Dickerson is definitely the next important player to target. He would come in here, solidify this offensive line for us. And then I also think of going after Amari Cooper. I think that Cooper can come in here, keep his development, and I think he can come in here and be our true #1 receiver that we definitely need. And then when you kind of think about everyone else, you know, we could help out the defensive line a little bit more, getting another defensive tackle, because right now we're going after, you know, basically a cover linebacker for us, a starting offensive lineman, and a #1 receiver. So is there anything else that we want to target with these last 2 spots? So I am going to make an offer here to Jones, just to be a quality linebacker. Let's have $50 million if all of these guys do sign. And we did not get, what's his name? We did not get Amari Cooper, but we got Landon Dickerson, got JOK and Jones. We solidified our linebacking core for the rest of the rebuild, and we solidified basically our interior offensive line. Where did Amari Cooper go? He went to the Patriots. Okay. Now, wide receiver kind of becomes much more of a pressing need and something that I'm willing to almost overpay for if necessary. Nico Collins is out here, but we have receivers like him. That's the problem. And I mean, between both Brandon Cooks and DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, Cooks probably has more years in him, but Hopkins is just the better receiver. I would rather go after, though, Hopkins, and I think just because of, I think he can just be a better receiver longer term. So we'll target him. I'm sorry about my controller, guys. It's freaking buggy. So we'll evaluate here with DeAndre Hopkins. We did get Hopkins, so we'll have him for the next 2 seasons, and he'll just be a nice band-aid. Receiver's still definitely in position. Even if Hopkins is on this roster, I would still draft a receiver and play him over Hopkins. Hopkins is just here to be that mentor, veteran receiver that can help out our team whenever necessary. Well, here we go. We have the 8th overall pick. And after all those free agent decisions, that's the board. I keep clicking on the wrong thing or my controller gets unplugged. It's one of the 2 things you get on my channel. Okay, let's check out this roster. We have the 8th overall pick. I don't know what other selections we have, but offensively, we could consider center, but I think center should be, like, out of all of the positional groups, center should be the least important, because we could consider a receiver again, but between Mingo and Lee, we should just kind of develop them. Desperately need a tight end. That should be one of our select picks. Defensive tackle is a need. Linebacker still in consideration. Corner. And heck, even safety too, with Von Bell getting up there in age. And then in terms of specialists, I mean, they are still putting Neal at the end spot, so yeah, I don't think that, you know, I think corner definitely, yeah, so let's go see. We have the 8th overall pick. This is, I think, going to be a good draft class in total, but let's move up to the 8th pick. We have a late 2nd round draft pick, but we got to make this pick worth our while here. You know, with no 3rd round pick, so I'm only making 2 selections this year. Not thinking about a quarterback, even though the game is showing me quarterbacks. Receiver can be a candidate here. Tight end, potentially. I mean, there is a good tackle, I thought I saw. I mean, we don't need an offensive lineman, but in terms of ratings, key ratings that I look for, he's probably the best bet. Is that linebacker still here? Ooh. I mean, do we get this top 5 player here? So round 1, talent is top 5. Dion Red here. 4.4 speed. Strong. Okay. A zone coverage. Do we draft a linebacker? He's the best player available. Do we draft the best player available that we know of? Or do we try to help out our receiving group or our secondary? I mean, someone like a Matthew Bowie here, 21 years old, elite speed. Oh my. Do we be aggressive here? I think we're gonna be aggressive here. I think we're gonna get Dion Lee and then try to trade back up and go get that corner. So Dion Reed is the selection, 91 speed, 80 strength, hidden development here. And hopefully now we have solidified our linebacking core, and that means also our front 7 for the rest of this rebuild. I was trying to trade out with the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think we can do that move. So I think we're going to have to kind of go pick by pick. We have to kind of get into the 20s. I think that's the only way that I would be not just able but willing to give up second round, like a second round pick next year. I'm not willing to give up my first round pick, and that I know would be, we would have to do that if we wanted either a receiver or that corner, which I have not been paying that much of attention to. Let's go see if any of them are there. The corner, Matthew is still available, so he is definitely a consideration here. And I think Travis Milden here probably would be another solid receiver if we wanted him. Not the fastest though. I really think it's only Bolden. I think it's only Matthew that we would want. So if we can get to like maybe right around the Titans selection, we're at the 19th pick. Maybe if we can get to like the Titans selection, heck, even Dallas. Let's try to get to the Lions. Because I think that's like probably the best and really only way that we could potentially get this pick. The Dolphins drafted a QB. There goes a tight end. I mean, we do need a tight end. Do we really go into this season without a tight end? I mean, it's not that pressing. And hopefully the CPU would go get. We could try to trade up now. Let's try to trade up here with Cincinnati. Let's go see if we can get that corner. So the deal has been made. We're trading away 2 second-round picks this year and next year, and our 3rd-round pick 2 seasons from now, and a 5th-round pick. Trade up. We're gonna go get that corner. I think he's gonna be good. I think he's gonna kind of help continue to solidify our secondary, and hopefully the CPU drafts us a quality tight end here. But Matthew Bowie here, 21 years old, at a Clemson. Hopefully, well, he's a man-to-man cover corner, so we know he's gonna have at least B coverage. So he's the selection, normal development, but an excellent athlete across the board. I think Matthew will fit right into this secondary. Well, I made 2 selections, 2 in the 1st round. Let's go see what we did. Well, Dion Reed, 81 overall. Oh my. Did we just get a generational off-ball linebacker here? Yes, absolutely. He can hit, he can run, he can play coverage. Hopefully superstar development or better. Matthew Bowen, high overall. 81 man coverage, 70 zone, 77 or 76 press. He can pick the ball off. Hopefully these 2 guys can help out our defense a lot. CPU did not decide to draft us a tight end. We got some depth across the board. Did we get the highest overall player? Red was a top 5 talent, so we did decide to go best player available over on the big board. We did get the best player on the draft, so I don't think I've ever done that yet. But I mean, could have drafted Grant. We could have gone up and get a tight end, but you know what? We already traded it up for it. We already drafted an off-ball linebacker. You know, I think trading up to go get a tight end, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Let's go see free agency if we can just sign, you know, a veteran or a young prospect here. You know, we got Hayden Hurts out there if we want him. You know, we got Austin Hooper. We'll go with Kyle here, or Kalen. He's a vertical threat tight end. Hopefully he can help us out. But let's get into year number 3. Let's win more than 5 games this year. I think we can manage. Well, as we're entering into year 3, this will be the team. We added Landon Dickerson in the offseason. Same thing here with DeAndre Hopkins. We got a band-aid at receiver to just get us some more big plays here. And Dickerson can solidify this offensive line even further. Don't have a great tight end, but who cares? Defensively, we solidified our linebacking core completely. We have an excellent secondary with a couple young prospects and a very good defensive line. This defense should be able to carry us. I'm hoping they will be able to. Have Nails on the outside. That's the rookie, and Reed is gonna start. Okay, don't forget we also brought in JOK here. We should be able to rush. We should be able to stop the run at least. That is the #1 thing that we should be able to do. So let's get to the midseason point. Let's try to win more than like 5 games. Let's try to have at least 500 after the midseason. Either that or just stay the same. We're 1-5. We just can't win more than 1 game. Yeah. Okay, so we have JC Horn here. I want to keep Horn. We have $100 million. No need to worry about. He's our #1 corner. Von Bell will probably move off him. Taylor Moton here. If he wants to stay as a Panther, then absolutely I'll keep him as a starting right tackle. Everyone else here will probably let go. Yeah. You know, we aren't good. And yeah, let's move to year 4. I mean, hey, we had a 7-10 record. We were able to win more than 6 games, so at least we did that. It's just at the beginning of the season, we can't start off good. Bryce Young, year 3, 4,000 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Very good season. Miles Sanders, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Quality year. Jonathan Mingo, over 1,000 yards and 7. Brian Lee, 9 and 7. And then DeAndre Hopkins, 7 and 4. With Kyle adding 6 and 5. So a solid season from a tight end that I had no idea would be any good. But, you know, the 2 young receivers are proving to be valuable. Still need that true legitimate #1. Hopkins is just not cutting it. Offensive line is playing good. JOK led us in tackles. Brian Burns got 11.5 sacks. Derek Brown got 8. I don't know what happened here with Ben Nails here, but he had 13 tackles for loss. JC Horn, we got 2 guys with interceptions. Yeah. Ooh. We got 2 years to figure this out. So far, we have struggled to do so. The Atlanta Falcons are Super Bowl champions here. Beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 24-17. And I don't even think the Falcons were good this year. Well, yeah, they went 12-4. Why did I think that they had a terrible season? Crap ton of upgrades here. Some of them I'll do myself, but let's get into this offseason. Let's really fix up this team, guys. I gotta do a better job. But DJ Red here, or Dion Red, he has X Factor. So you guys can see. So we did drop a generational off-ball linebacker. Put a couple of these into field general, and then I'm gonna put one in pass coverage. Bumps him up to an 87 overall after 1 season. I think he should be an excellent playmaker for this defense. He's already a top 5 off-ball linebacker, so hopefully this pays some sort of dividends to this team. But my goodness, we gotta figure this. We gotta get something going here. You know, something has to change. We will pick up the 5th-year option here for Bryce Young. Then for everyone else, we're gonna let walk. Don't need these players. Most of these guys are just depth anyways. Safety will be a need, but we have $100 million to work with. Let's go do something with this money. As we're entering into this offseason, DeAndre Hopkins did retire, so wide receiver becomes even more of a need. Tight end still a need, center's a need. Backup running back is technically also a need. Strong safety, corner we're solid in, but you could always look to add someone else. Defensive tackle, linebacker in my opinion is fairly solid, so I would sit here and say safety, defensive tackle, maybe a corner, center, tight end, wide receiver, and maybe a running back. And don't forget this, guys, we don't have a lot of mid-round picks. I've been making a lot of aggressive trades here, and it has not been working out in our favor. But we have $116 million. As we're entering into year 4, let's make some moves here. Wide receiver. Romeo Doubs would be the youngest and the best, and he is absolutely the receiver we're going to target here. He's also pretty cheap. So it does not mean that we don't have to just add him. We could add someone else just in case if he decides not to come here. Like a guy like a Sky Moore, but I think we're gonna be okay here. We could go after Grant Dulcich here. Could go after him, and he has good speed. He's fast, and actually I am gonna make a target. We're gonna make him an important player too. Helping out this offense as best as we possibly can. Hopefully Gray can come in here. Offensive line we'll figure out a little later. Defensively, defensive tackle is the spot. John Hargrave here, maybe. Not really like a fan of doing that. Now, Grady Jarrett, he could be a solid option. What about corner? Roger McCary here could be a solid. Desmond King. Tyrann Matthews out here. We do need a strong safety. Kirby Joseph, 25 years old, superstar X Factor. We just need good players on this roster. And Kirby, come be a Carolina Panther. I mean, why not? I mean, why not? I mean, I don't know. We do need a specialist too. That is something else that is on my to-do list, but I think we will go after John Hargrave here. Just trying to make him just a 2-year offer here. We have the capital. So yeah, we're gonna make these 5 offers here. I know Joel Batoni is out here, but I'm just not gonna press that. Same thing with Jalen Phillips. We don't need a pass rusher. You know, that's just not on our top. You know, receiver, getting a new safety, getting a new tight end. You know, these 4 guys would really help out. And the game says I can't even target someone else because the game is broken. So let's go see if we have any new Carolina Panthers. So Roman Dobbs here, who's the guy we really want. Kirby Joseph signs, Greg signs, and Hargrave signs. So we helped out our needs here, but we got to make sure we get Roman here. I cannot go into next season without not like a true legitimate #1 receiver, but Romeo Dobbs here is the obvious completely the best receiver out there. And he has signed 4 years, $40 million. So now I'm going to go after probably a kicker and a punter and some depth players. Well, as we're entering into the 3rd draft class, we have the 9th overall pick. Let's look at this roster. And currently right now, you know, we have our starting 5 offensive linemen. We could consider still center. We have our 2 running backs now. We have our #1 receiver, kind of. I mean, we have 3 starting receivers, more like it. Same thing with tight end, technically. Defensively, we're more secured, you know, especially now with Kirby on this roster. Kind of go best player available. You know, we could consider a defensive tackle here. We could consider a receiver here. We could consider anything. Anything's really possible. But we have the 9th overall pick. I was looking at this draft class, and, you know, Emmanuel Grant here just looks like a fucking problem. Just quality athlete around the board. And then A's basically around the board as well. Won't have an opportunity to probably draft him. So who did I look at? My 3 players that I took a little bit more. Sheriff Perkins here, 23 years old, 6'3", fast. He has height, weight, and speed. He is strong. Perkins here would definitely be in line with this selection here. I think I looked at a center as well. Tim here, definitely a quality offensive lineman. If he falls, I would hope the CPU drafts him, because I don't think we have a 2nd or a 3rd. And no, we do not. So we're kind of hoping that the game does draft us Tim. Now, this could be a spot where we do move back. And then the other player was Cameron Purton here, 23 years old. B's across the board. Looks like just a solid player. So I think if Perkins or as my controller just bugs out. I think if the pass rusher or the receiver falls, we select one of them. If neither one of them does, we trade back and just accumulate as many picks as possible. So the pass rusher is gone and the receiver is still there. So do we just draft the receiver, guarantee him on this roster? We would not, there would be no guarantees. Or do we trade back with a team like the Bears, try to get their like 2nd round pick and like their 3rd and stuff? Let's try to trade with the Bears. They had the 1st overall pick. Maybe he would fall all the way to the end of the 1st round. So sorry with my controller. The deal has been made here. We're trading away our 1st, 4th, and 6th to basically trade back to get a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 7th this year. So I'm doing this mostly because of the fact that the pass rusher's gone. And even if the receiver falls, we're at the top of the first or the top of the second round. But this allows us to make, allows me to make 2 selections instead of just 1. Especially because of the fact that I just wasn't guaranteed. I just didn't know if he would. I don't know if he's really good enough. We're lucky he fell to us. We're drafting him. He has 93 speed, hidden development, excellent receiver. Now we're 4 deep at receiver. So, you know, the worst case scenario is that we don't have to keep Mingo on this roster. You know, but we have our receivers, hopefully. And this allows us now to basically accumulate younger players on this roster. And here in the 3rd round, you know, we could draft, you know, potentially a solid. Now, is that center still available? No, he's gone. He's long gone, most likely. Could consider a tight end like Luke here. 6'3", vertical threat, but we just signed a tight end. There's no point to having 2 tight ends. Defensive tackle definitely could be in play, like a Peter here. Definitely has probably some good key ratings. He's strong, he is fast, he's a little bit of everything. A season to develop and then possibly become a starter. Linebacker is the hugest need. Don't know his top 3. I think we're gonna go here with the defensive tackle. Just sure that up a little bit. So we're gonna go with Peter Holcomb. He's the selection. Normal depth, 91 strength. Hopefully Peter can just help out this team, be solid depth for the defense, and we'll let the CPU handle the rest. I think that's just a better decision making on our end, and hopefully the CPU can just take advantage of it. Okay, let's go see how bad of, Jesus Christ. Let's go see how bad of a draft class I did. 74 overall here for Sheriff Perkins here. Now, the thing is this. We could have had him at 9. We got him at 33. Excellent receiver. 74 overall. Got to be able to probably get him on the field. Peter here, 72. Excellent developmental guy. Can just need to work on his blocks. I mean, he's almost well-rounded here. He can do a little bit of everything fairly well. We did get an offensive lineman here, and he is going to be moved to center. He's hidden dev, and we need a starting center, and Wyatt Hitchman here will be that for us. So that solidifies our offensive line here. We got some depth across the board. And let's go see. You know, we traded out of the 9th overall pick, and I don't even know I think it was the Bears who drafted. And they drafted a receiver though, and we got definitely the better receiver out of the 2. So, I mean, obviously there's probably someone we could have drafted that's better. So we could have drafted Amari Horn here, a corner, 100%. We could have drafted a pass rusher, another corner. Again, this thing continues to fucking annoy me. So sorry, guys. I mean, we passed up on some of the better players. Not the strongest draft class. Even Grant isn't the best. But let's get into year 4. Let's do something this year, please. Well, halfway through, we're 5-2 and a tight NFC South battle so far. 5-2 best so far here in year 4. My controller got unplugged. Yeah, so, okay. Year 4, we're doing well. $29 million, not a ton of cap room. And this is kind of where things somewhat get difficult, it looks like. Yeah. So I'm kind of happy that we drafted the receiver, because Mingo probably won't be able to come back. Miles Sanders, I don't know if he's going to be able. I mean, we need him. We just can't let Nwuku go. So 4 years, $70 million. And yeah, we'll probably try to keep Mingo by the end of the year. But as of right now, yeah, no, we're not going to have any money for year 5. We kind of went all in. So hopefully here in year 4, we can make the postseason and we can do some damage here. Well, so far, year 4, we're in the postseason. We're 11-6. We've made it to the wild card action here, first time in this Panthers 5-year rebuild. Bryce Young, 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 3,000 passing yards. Very good season, quality year. Our running game does not want to load, but Miles Sanders, 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns. This is actually his best year with us. You know, he's played 4 seasons. He's always hit at least 1,100 yards. Now he had 15 touchdowns, 1,200. Rashard White here added 4 and 3 on the ground, helping out as best as he can. Brian Lee, 8 touchdowns, 8 and 8. Jonathan Mingo, 6 and 4. Greg here, 6 and 5, and then Romeo, 6 and 8. And we paid him a whole lot of money, and he's not really producing, and that's kind of annoying. Offensive line played well. Red here played his brains out here. Brian Bird's 10.5 sacks with Ben Niels here with 10 of his own. And then Derek Brown added 5.5. Horn added 5 interceptions. So, you know, we're not a guarantee to make the postseason again, especially because of our cap restraints. So let's hop in here into the into this wild card action here. I always try to get a little bit of gameplay now. Kind of recognize that after the Cardinals rebuild that I posted a few days ago. But let's go see how we can beat this Lions team. You know, we have a good roster. We have Bryce Young. We have good receivers. We're playing against Jared Goff. I mean, come on, it's Jared fucking Goff. We can do this. We can make a good playoff run here. You know, heck, we could get to a Super Bowl. Why not? Why can't we? Okay, let's go to the next quarter. Let's go quarter by quarter here. First quarter here, the wild card action. We got a safety. Game 7-2. I don't expect that to ever be a score that I've ever commentated to you guys once. It's now 7-5. What is this, fucking baseball? A high-scoring baseball game? Jesus Christ. Can we get something going here in the third quarter? It's 13-10. One more quarter. Can we get to the divisional round? Maybe. Possibly. We're a tied ball game. We're heading into overtime. Okay. Let's play the if we get an opportunity on offense, we'll run this offense here. Let's do the let's do like, oh god, what am I doing? You know what? We'll just take over from this spot here. Beginning of overtime, Bryce Young. Let's get some game action here. Young looks to throw it. He's looking to take a deep shot here. First play, and it's broken up. I wanted Dobbs down the field. I wanted to end this game here. Yeah, here we go. Second down. Can we do something on this play? Let's go after Lee here. Oh my goodness, what throw was that? That's intercepted. Okay, you know what? I'm just awful at this video game. Clear and obvious, I'm not good. Bryce Young, did I just throw away this game? I might have. Let's just sim to the end. I probably just threw our best chances. No, I didn't. I didn't. I think we won. Yeah, we won. How the fuck did we do it? I will never know. But Bryce Young, he beat the Detroit Lions 23-20, and we're moving on here into the divisional round. My God, I can't believe that. Can we see like any of the highlights? Like, does the game like show us? Ooh. Well, CJ Gardner. Okay, this is the interception I threw. So yeah, no. Yeah, let's go to the divisional round. Well, here in the divisional round, we'll be playing against the Philadelphia Eagles now. And, you know, here in year 4, if we can make the Super Bowl, that would be great. You know, obviously, I'm only getting into these games here because, you know, I don't know if year 5 will be able to get there. So here we go, divisional playoffs. We got the Philadelphia Eagles coming to, I guess, our stadium. Okay, here we go. I guess Philly was a wild card team. We're up 3-0 here after one quarter. We did have a slow start last week, down by 4 now. Now we're up by 3 again. Again, back down by 4, and we've made this game by a point entering into halftime now. Let's go see. Games by a point yet again. As we enter into the 4th quarter here, let's get to the end of the game. Can Philadelphia do something? I don't think so, but Carolina is able to pull out the victory, beating the Philadelphia Eagles 22-14. Defense is playing lights out football, even against Jalen Hurts. And we are moving on to the NFC Championship game to play against who the hell knows, but hey, right now, we can win the championship this year, and you know, year 5 can either kind of just be a throwaway. That would be great. You know, that would be amazing, just because then I don't have to worry about it. But hey, we got one more game to go. Let's get into it. Well, here in the NFC Championship game, we have the Atlanta Falcons, our divisional rival here in year 4. I think it's Desmond Ridder versus Bryce Young. Two young athletic quarterbacks, both wearing number 9, trying to reach their team to a Super Bowl. Atlanta's already won a Super Bowl in this rebuild, and we are looking to get one of our own here. So looks like we'll start off with the football now. We'll let the CPU take over. Here in the first quarter, we're up by 7 here, and Atlanta has yet to do anything. Hopefully here in the first half, we can have a good lead. Tie ball game 10-7 now, and Atlanta is able to score a late touchdown to end the first half. 14-10 here as we head into the second half here in the NFC Championship game. And it's 4th down at the beginning of the 4th quarter. And so far, Atlanta's defense playing excellent football, and they will be sending us home here. And now we're going to enter into year 5. We have a taste of victory, or we have a taste of the playoffs. Can we get back to the postseason? We lost 14-10. Close battle here. Hopefully, as we enter into year 5, even with no money, we can do something with it. We might have to restructure some contracts. If we do so, I'll let you guys know. But let's get into year 5. Let's go try to get this team to a championship. As the Baltimore Ravens beat the Atlanta Falcons 21-18. Lamar Jackson is your MVP. As we're entering into the final offseason here, it looks like we should have some capital. But, you know, as we're entering now into the last offseason, typically this is where I like to go all in, try to use every bit of our resources to do so. And let's just take a quick look at this roster here. I mean, I know Miles Sanders we have to make a decision on. Same thing here with Jonathan Mingo. But our offensive line is set for the last year. You know, we have our quarterback who lost his depth trait. Even Perkins lost his depth trait, but that's okay. I don't mind going into a season with normal depth players. Defensively, you know, we still have our 3 corners. We could look to improve on that. Kirby Joseph lost his X factor. Red still an X factor. Yeah, we just gotta get some more blue chip players on this roster. Gotta just try to figure that out. We might not have a ton of money, but we shall see as we are now entering into the final off season here. We have $39 million to work with here. We'll pick up Brian's 5th-year option, doesn't really matter. So we have Miles Sanders. Jonathan Mingo I would like to keep, just don't want him to leave the building. I think he's still a solid receiver. Worst case scenario, I think he's our only 1,000-yard receiver. For everyone else here, I think we can move off of. Yeah, we don't need these guys. We can enter into the offseason with $34 million. Running back will be a need, but you know what? We should be okay. Let's check out the roster. Let's go see truly what we need to focus in on. So, $34 million. Let's see. Let's adjust this roster. We'll generate the best lineup here now. So running back still in need, but we have White if we don't find someone. Offensive line is set. Quarterback is set. I mean, unless there's a true legitimate receiver, then sure. But I assume we're gonna go into the year with those 4. Can we move off of Gerard Hargrave potentially? No. So Hargrave will still be on this roster. But defensively, I mean, a linebacker, I guess, corner. If you want to argue in defensive tackle, you can. But I mean, I think we have our playmakers. It's really, it's really who's the best player available, or go get a running back, because running backs are fairly important in Madden, actually. We have $34 million. Tyreek Hill is out here. Marlon Humphrey. Devin Witherspoon. Okay. I mean, there's definitely players out here. Zach Corbett here, running back. Probably the guy that we'll target, just to have the best available back on our roster. Tyreek Hill is very enticing. And when I sit here and say blue chip players, that's like a blue chip player. I have targeted him in the past, and I believe he denied me when I wanted to go get him. And he has interest in coming here. Nolan Smith, I don't think he would put us over the top. We also don't really need a pass rusher. I mean, if we were gonna go after anyone, we could go after this kid. Just try to go get him. $25 million. Marlon Humphrey. I think we go after Tyreek Hill. That would leave us with $5 million. Where does that put us? If we just give him this base offer. Okay, puts us in the top. I think we'll go after these three guys. Getting Tyreek Hill is just a luxury player. It's just kind of showing how all in I am, and we are. So we have Tyreek Hill now on this roster. Let's get to the draft. Let's draft, what's his name? Bryce Young here, some talent. But Tyreek Hill hopefully is that #1 receiver that we've been really needing since the beginning of this franchise. Well, we have one last draft class to go through. One more draft to do. So let's go see this roster here. I mean, offensively, we have our offensive line, we have our receivers, we have everything. It's just taking the best player available, basically. You know, we're like 5 deep at wide receiver. Apparently now. Defensively, defensive tackle, linebacker, corner, probably. Like, I think getting a defensive stud makes the most sense. But I mean, again, I don't think that like a corner is necessary. Like, corner's probably like the biggest need out of those, but I just don't think that we need to just trade up and go get someone. So we have the 29th overall pick. I did look at it across, I think it was like a running back I looked at. He's off the board. But there is a power back that looks intriguing. Alexander Winfield. I looked at him just because he had like that best split here, but he's just not a need. And then I think there was a corner that I looked at, and I think he was drafted actually. So, and he was. So that kind of puts me in an awkward position here. Let me go look around and see if there's someone intriguing. Devin Griffith will be our last selection. Here in the first round, we'll pick him. He's a corner, hidden dev, 92 speed, 91 acceleration, hidden development. Hopefully he can come out here, be a solid option here. And I'm only gonna make our second round pick, and I'll let the CPU take over. You know, drafting the corner was just because he looked like the best player on the board. There really wasn't someone else that just enticed me to go get. You know, I mean, if the lineman is there, I mean, he is. I think Alexander Winfield is the best player on the board. I think he was still the best player on the board when I drafted in the first round. And I mean, unless there's like, there really isn't someone out here that is just like, it screams at me to draft. I mean, Mitch Isaac here with B zone coverage, second fastest in the class. He's probably solid, and he would be solid depth, but we don't need solid depth. I think we just draft the center. Just drafted us. Hopefully we just, I think Alexander Winfield is going to be a good center. 21 years old, hidden dev, 89 strength. Can move, he can run. You know, honestly, it's just best player available at this moment in time. Let's go sim to the end of the draft, and let's go see if we can get back to the postseason. Okay, we made 2 selections. drafting a corner and a center here. Our corner Devin, hidden Dev, 75 overall quality. Very much a quality cover corner. He's a rookie, so he's not going to make a huge impact. And then Winfield here, 73 overall. Definitely would have been happy even in the first round drafting him. But again, we didn't really need him. And then the CPU drafted us this running back who is a complete power back, who can do some work here. He can get someone even catch the football. Not a bad draft class, not a terrible, not a good one either. Solid across the board. I mean, did we miss on anything? I mean, DeAndre Jones here in the 5th round, but how the heck am I supposed to know that? Could drafted a defensive tackle here who was a 78. You know, there's a PJ Nash who I liked. I don't remember if he was a corner that I was going to draft. I don't remember the corner's name that I liked. Let me try to find him for you guys. And it's not Townsend. There was another corner. I genuinely forget his name. It's whatever. Okay, let's get into year 5. Let's go see if we get back to the postseason. Well, here for year 5, this will be the roster. We obviously brought in Tyreek Hill. We have a new running back here for the last season. We have a quality offensive line. Defensively, we have a quality defensive line here. We've done an excellent job of, you know, keeping both Brown and Burns together. Getting Ben Niles, or Nails here, was an excellent choice. Secondary is much improved. Linebacking core is excellent. There's no reason why we can't get back to the postseason. I think the only reason we wouldn't would be if, you know, Bryce Young struggles, or, I mean, defensively, if we just can't get a pass rush. But guys, again, this is right around the time that I like to ask for any sort of feedback down below with these videos. You know, again, this is the first year I'm doing these. Throughout this whole year is a major test for me with this type of content. So far I've been enjoying them. This is, I believe, my 5th one I've done so far here in Madden 24. But yeah, guys, leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. You know, any sort of feedback, any sort of suggestions that you have is much appreciated. And November, right around November 1st, I know this is like mid-October and we did not make the postseason. We didn't make the postseason, so that's unfortunate, but mid-October or December, or I know this is mid-October when this is being posted, but early November is when I will be getting into my main franchise. But did not win the playoffs, didn't get to the playoffs, and yeah, Bryce Young was the reason we couldn't do anything. The game doesn't even want to load, you know. 5 years with Bryce Young. He had a couple good years, you know. His second year was excellent. This year, these first 3 years were good. This year was kind of showing me the decline of the offense. And then yeah, 21 touchdowns, 10 picks, not good at all. Zach, 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns, not terrible, but 3.9 yards a carry is not good enough. And Tyreek Hill did absolutely nothing. He played every single game over. He played the most downs, and he did nothing for us. And that's just unfortunate. Yeah, you know, another rebuild, unsuccessful. Ben Nails here. Good career. I don't remember if he was our first pick. He was our second ever pick. Very good season, career, very good career for him. But yeah, guys, let me know down below if you guys have any sort of suggestions with these videos, any sort of structure, anything like that. Much appreciated. Leave a like, subscribe. There's more of this type of content throughout the month of October. Then we'll get into the major franchise, and then probably at the beginning of the new year, I'll get back into doing these 5-year rebuilds. But again, guys, like the video, subscribe. Any sort of feedback, let me know down below if you guys think that I should keep development traits for some of these players, because someone like a Ben Nails, you know what, he started off with superstar development, and then obviously they regressed him. Let me know down below what you guys think, and I will see you in the next one.